Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, I am going to talk about some ideas that you can use when you are in a creative block and you can't think of what to draw. Usually, this sort of problem happens where you just really want to get stuck into something, but you just can't really think of anything, or you don't really have any prompt of what to draw. So what I have up here on the screen is just so that you're looking at something interesting. So I'm just going to draw while I run through these things instead of just looking at me talking or whatever. Yeah, so this is actually one of the ideas which I have in my list here. So I basically just started out drawing a whole bunch of random shapes on a page. So I just had a blank piece of paper and I just started loosely just randomly drawing all the shapes which you see here, which are underpinning all these characters. So it kind of gets your imagination going because you're looking at the shapes and you're just trying to come up with things, and then you have something to draw, you have something to work with. It's sort of like you're going to make a clay sculpture or something and you don't actually have anything to make the sculpture out of. Like you can't really work with anything, but if you sort of just start putting random shapes down, it's sort of like giving you some clay to actually start sculpting. Well, that's the way I like to think of it anyway, as opposed to having a blank page there or something, or trying to design something straight away from, trying to make it perfect. It's not really a good way to get sort of stuck into it. So yeah, that's what I've done for this idea, which I'm going to start sort of drawing. So the next idea is that you can just draw something that's around you, like just in your surroundings. So I do this all the time when I can't really think of like a great idea or anything. I just look around and look for something remotely interesting. So say it's like a pot plant or something like that, and I'll just start trying to draw that and just studying it, just looking at sort of the shapes and the form behind it. And the next thing you know, you just sort of two things will happen when you do this exercise. One of the things is that you'll look at the subject that you're drawing in great detail, and you'll learn about the shape and the light and the form and the design or whatever. Or what could happen is that the subject is just so boring that your imagination will come up with better things for you to draw or make out of that thing that you're drawing in front of you. So you'll start drawing, I don't know, I'm not a smoker, but an ashtray or something, and then you're just so sick of looking at that ashtray, or that ashtray is actually quite boring, that you'll start to either make it into something cool, or you'll just want to start drawing something from your imagination or come up with creative ideas, or you might just want to study something else. You can make a product for a design for a product. So you take something that needs artwork applied to it, and then you can make the artwork for that. So an example would be, something like, let's say, birthday cards. That's a shit example. Who wants to draw that? I don't know, maybe you do. Maybe someone's birthday is coming up and you could actually do that. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, so you could come up with designs for anything. I remember that I've seen on the internet somewhere where people draw action figure boxes, which is pretty cool. And you could even design the character, or you could design the box and all the text and everything, which is really gets your imagination going, and sort of is one of those things that you do when you're a kid, but you just kind of forget to do cool stuff like that. You just get caught up in trying to make it sort of, I don't know, smart or have some crazy concept, but a good old action figure box or something could be pretty cool. I'm getting really into that idea now that I've just mentioned it. Okay, so that's one other thing that you could do. Another thing you could do is to come up with a story of some sort. So, sort of just think of a sequence of events, and then you can start sort of sketching out thumbnails or drawing stuff related to that or characters related to that, and try and build like a little world. And I find that that sort of gets your like creativity flowing, because you'll come up with one component for your story, say a character, but then you'll need some environment for them to be in. So then you'll want to think of that, or think of sort of a story, and then other characters need to come into it. So it sort of snowballs, and you start to think of more ideas, as opposed to just sitting there like, oh, what should I draw? If you just sort of don't try and get bogged down in just doing one design or one drawing, try and be loose and quick and fast and sort of work through ideas really quickly. I find that that is a better way of working when you're trying to be creative than trying to be more of a perfectionist or a producer or something like that. You think of it more as you're a brainstormer. That's, I guess, a way you could put it. So that's another idea. Another idea is, like I just kind of mentioned it, but you can thumbnail stuff. So just draw stuff really small. So that's really fun to like just draw heaps of little tiny small drawings on a page. Like maybe fill up a whole page with all these tiny drawings and try and arrange them in a cool way on the page and try and pick apart the ideas that you like that you come up with. Just quickly kind of breezing through ideas and stuff. And then the next thing you'll know, you'll have too many ideas. So the original problem of what do I draw? The next thing you know, you'll be like, oh, fuck, man, I got a lot of shit to draw here. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that if you're looking at getting rid of that creative block. Another idea I would try if you have a creative block is to experiment using different mediums. And this one really helps because not only does it sort of make you think outside of the medium you might be sort of bogged down in at the moment, but at the same time, you'll also learn things which can sort of feed into other mediums. So say, for example, you usually draw digitally, like I'm doing now. You can sort of try spray painting. So that's what I sort of do as well. I do big murals and stuff using spray paint, sort of the graffiti medium. But try and apply your art style to another medium like that. Or, you can try 3D sculpting or 3D digital, like on the computer. You can try using 3D programs. And it'll really give you a better idea of form and lighting and stuff, and sort of help with that thing of, trying to turn your brain into a 3D program when you draw things. That's another idea which you can sort of use when you're in a creative block. Just try a different medium. And then the next thing, the other side effect of that, similar to what I was saying before, is you could try doing a medium and it gets so frustrating that you just like, I just want to go back to what I like using, and then you'll just go back into it with a fresher sort of comfort, and you just want to go a bit more crazy with your ideas and stuff, knowing, feeling good that that's the thing that you're actually better at. So if anything, that would probably happen. So another idea would be to watch a movie or a TV show and grab a screenshot of it, of a scene that you really like, and just start drawing that. I find that this is a really good exercise. You can learn a lot from the way that cinematographers have composed and lit their shots. You can learn a lot about composition, color, storytelling. There's a lot to be learned from the scenes from movie scenes. So sitting down and just drawing out some thumbnails. So maybe pick a few scenes and then sketch them and kind of block in those big shapes and stuff. That's another way to get sort of out of a creative block, because from doing that and looking at how these shots are composed, you can go and bring that cinematic quality back into your other work in some ways, either through color or composition, or just looking at things in a different way, sort of through a camera lens, more so through just, I could do whatever I want because my page is blank and endless. It's sort of, how do I fit this in a frame? You start thinking of things in boxes, similar to storyboarding and comics, and thinking of it that way. So that's another exercise you can do. So that's it. They're basically my some ideas for getting rid of creative block. I am now going to go ahead and finish up this drawing and speed it up so you don't have to sit through this, and just so you can see it if you want. And thanks for watching. I hope that this is useful to some people. If not, I've kind of failed a bit, so that'd be a bit shit. Okay, so let's finish this up. Please like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff, and follow me on Instagram. That'll be in the description. I really like that. You don't have to if you don't want to. I don't give a shit if you don't want to, but if you do, that would be great. Anyway, peace, guys.